camera. All right, so let's get started with a little bit of allergy stuff to start with. So we're going to start with a low chip block and a low regular block. Some of us might want to go a little higher or a little lower on the head. Just adjust as you feel fit, okay? But we're going to put that kind of just below our shoulder blades so that our shoulder blades can kind of hang over the block like a hammock. And just let those arms be beside you, palms facing up. We're going to start in a snow plow, so the knees are going to touch, and we're going to heel toe the feet apart. Push into the baby toe edge of the foot, push into all 10 toes, and just kind of feel like you could lift your arches up. Just taking a few breaths here. And so you want the lowest height of the block underneath your head, and you want the chip block just below your shoulder blades. And then see if you can bring your arms to a T and just rock your head from side to side, just ever so slightly. Just getting that nice neck release. And then stop with the chin and center. Take your wrists right over your elbows and without wrinkling your wrists. So for me, I kind of feel like I'm squeezing a coconut, and I try and get rid of all the wrinkles in my wrists. And then I try and bring the backs of the hands to the floor without wrinkling the wrists. Relax your forehead, relax your jaw, close your eyes, and just find big, beautiful breaths. If the wrists are floating, that's fine. Just imagine that those coconuts in your hands are heavy and they're starting to drag your hands down to the floor, but really avoiding that ready wrist. You want to try and keep the wrist as flat as you can. Yeah, exactly like that. There you go. If it's painful, you don't have to go all the way down, but you do want to try and get rid of that ready wrist. Nice. Your daughter did so good the other day. I'm going to go lowest height on this one. There we go. Nice.
Do you need air to get another?
Yes. If anybody feels like they need a little bit of lower height under their head, I can grab you another chip block at any time. Nice. And just big, beautiful breaths here. What's that? If the sun hits you, just let me know if you want the windows closed. Let's take 10 more breaths here. With those 10 breaths, just noticing how intense this is on your upper back. This is a supported fish, and sometimes if we have a little bit of like a pronounced hunch, this might be the right height for us to stay on, but most of us are going to be able to go up a little bit higher. It's my #1 pose for the start of class and allergy season, just to get rid of any sniffles or stuffiness that might be lingering. For those last few breaths, really visualizing a great big bowling ball on your belly and pull your belly away from that bowling ball as you breathe into the ribs and the armpits and the upper chest and shoulders. And then from here, we're gonna heel, toe our feet in. We're gonna reach those arms up towards the sky like a zombie, like your hands are balloons. Lift those hands up really high, and then without bending your elbows, let those arm bones sink into the shoulder sockets. Let the shoulders kind of come down between the two blocks without any pain. And then inhale, reach your fingers up, and then exhale, let those arm bones sink into the shoulder sockets. So let's just do 2 more rounds like that. Just nice, gentle neck release. And then let your elbows come onto the floor. Use all 10 fingers and squeeze your thighs so that you know your arms are really active. Now you're going to push your elbows down, push your shoulders down, and just lift your head to look at your knees. Good. And then bring your hands back, push yourself straight up. Good. I like to kind of pivot on my butt so I don't really change my back that much. Now if this was enough height for you, just stick with this height, or you can go higher. So kind of the next height would be the sort of low block underneath your ribs, medium block underneath your head. If you feel like you want to go a little bit deeper, you could go medium block under your ribs, high block underneath your head. So whatever feels good. The block that's underneath the ribs is going to be just below the shelf of the shoulder blades, right? So you want to have that block quite high, and you want to bring the other block underneath your head slightly higher. And once again, we're going to start with those arms out beside us. This time we can either do a creeper pose, which is soles of the feet on the floor, knees wide, or soles of the feet clap, knees wide, whatever your preference, but keeping those feet nice and active. Let the shoulders melt. Arms like a T is nice, but if that's too intense, you can bring your arms a little bit lower. Pull your belly in as if there was a big bowling ball on your belly, and you want to pull your belly away from that bowling ball, and you want to almost slide that belly up like you're trying to move that bowling ball to touch your bottom ribs. Feel that gentle breeze of breath on the inside of your nostrils, and try and expand your nostrils a bit like a bull would expand their nostrils, making your nostrils bigger, more space for that breath to flow. And so generally when we have a block in our back, we expand up and out, but see if you can almost squeeze the rib cage slightly and breathe towards the block. Breathe above the block into the shoulders and the trapezius muscles, and then let the breath go to the side ribs, armpit, armpit, chest, and then let the breath wrap around to the front body. If your back is sensitive, straighten your legs, grab your butt, and sit straight up. I'm really feeling that gentle breeze of breath on the inside of the nostrils, and using your mind to slow down and smooth out that breath. Let's take 10 more breaths here, using this opportunity to exhale, to let go of what no longer serves you. Could be a feeling, an emotion, a person, something physical. With the inhalation, inviting in what you truly need. hands to your outer thighs, draw those knees together using every muscle you've got. Straighten out one leg, straighten out the other leg. We're gonna bring our arms up like a zombie, just like we did before. Wrists, elbows, shoulders stacked. Arm bones come into the body, arm bones come out of the body. So arm bones come all the way in without bending, arm bones all the way out. We call this a shoulder push-up. It's just injecting our humerus bones and then pulling them out of the shoulders. And then lift those arm bones all the way out. Lift, 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 lift. Bend your elbows, lift your elbows, and see if you can hold onto the block. And then doing that same movement, really move the arm bones into the shoulders, out of the shoulders. And if you can't hold the block, just hold your head. Just palms on the head or palms on the block. And then lift those arm bones out of the body. Squeeze the block with your hands or your head with your hands. Don't let the palms move. Keep those palms like a suction cup. Now imagine that your arm bones are arrows and move those arrows towards the tip of your elbow with as much force as you can muster, right? So both arm bones are moving towards the tip of the elbow, palms are flat, and we're gonna open and close our elbows without the palms moving. So there's zero movement in the palm of our hand. Okay, sometimes that rib cage breath, it just gets something moving. Yeah. I've got little Dixie cups if you need one.
Okay.
And then bring those elbows a shoulder's distance apart. Lift your arm bones up into the tip of the elbow. Close your eyes. Take a great big exhale to empty. Pull your belly towards your back and breathe into the ribs, the chest, and the shoulders. Do your best to fill the back body first, and then the side body, and then the front body. You feel like you're squeezing the block, lifting the block, and trying to slide the block away from your butt. Feel that gentle breeze of breath on the inside of your nostrils and expand your nostrils away from that gentle breeze of breath. Let's take 10 more breaths here. Really using each exhalation as an opportunity to let go of whatever it is that's no longer serving you. And allow each inhalation to invite in what you need. Let's see if you can get those heels centered, those toes pointing up. So think of an internal rotation. There you go. And see if you can have your elbows a shoulder's distance apart and really lift those arm bones towards the tip of those elbows as we take these last 10 breaths. Exhaling to let go and release, and inhaling to create and manifest. And when those 10 breaths are complete, bring those arm bones back up towards the sky like a zombie. Then bring your elbows towards the floor and use all 10 fingers to squeeze your thighs and your butt. Push your elbows down, but lift your shoulders up and just lift your head. Just your head comes. You want to really squeeze your thighs with those fingers. Good. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Just lift your head and hold. Think about the back shoulders lifting and the front shoulders moving to the floor. And then move your hands back and push yourself straight up. Good. Bring those knees in nice and slow, and just give those legs a moderate hug to start with, right? And as the back releases, you can start to hug those legs a little closer, maybe let the spine curl, let the forehead eventually work its way towards the knees. Let's take 10 big breaths into our back ribs. And then crossing the opposite arm on top, relax the shoulders. Again, curling down, big, beautiful breaths into your back. And then nice inhale to come up. We're going to take those heels away from you, digging those heels in. We're going to take our hands behind the knees, lift the chest. So for this first one, I like to have my index fingers underneath my knees, and I'm going to look at my wrists, and I'm going to try and have them be wrinkle-free. And I want to really think about lifting the arms up from underneath and pushing down from the top. So the bottom side of the arm is lifting, right? The top side of the arm is pushing. Shoulders back, heart center lifts, and just sit back behind your sit bones. So our first objective, right, is to keep those elbows exactly as they are, not let them kind of go away from us. Lift them up if you can, right? Get those as high as you can so there's no wrinkles in sort of that pinky side of the wrist, okay? The next thing I want you to do is get your knees and your feet a hips distance apart. And then we're going to book foot, Irish dancer foot, book foot, Irish dancer foot, book foot, Irish dancer foot, right? Just going back and forth. Now level up your feet. Lift your heart, shoulders back. So the two things, I don't want your elbows to change and I don't want your back to change. That's your goal. And then you're going to do a shin lift. Obviously keeping those feet. And you don't have to go any further than you already are. You can even put your heels down, but really prioritize that level of elbow strength. Nice work, you guys. Pull with your hands, lift your chest, get rid of those book foot. Book feet. Nice. And this is our part of our beachy boat series. Our summer homework. Spring and summer. By fall, we're going to be killing it. Let's go 10 more breaths here. When those 10 breaths are complete, you're going to bend your knees. Soles of the feet are going to clap. We're going to have a great big square, right? So it's 90-degree angle, 90-degree angle. Lift your chest, shoulders back, and just see what it's like to come forward. Nice and slow. Take it to wherever you can take it. Let's take 10 breaths here. When those 10 breaths are complete, we're going to come up. We're going to draw those knees together. So this time, knees together, ankles together, thighs together. Level up those feet. Bring your hands underneath your knees, but pull the elbows in and back. So this time, we're looking for like that pinch and 90-degree angle elbow. Shoulders back, heart center lifts. And we're going to come just behind the sit bones, but this time, elbows in and back. Now see if you can get those elbows to bend to a 90. Move those shoulder heads back, keep that straight spine like you're still on a block like a fish, and see if you can straighten your legs without the thighs moving, without the elbows straightening, right? So again, just changing how we do things a little bit to really work on strengthening different parts of our body. Focus on your body, focus on your breath, find those feet, see if you can get those knees together, even if it means you have to bend your knees more, get those thighs to touch. Relax your forehead, relax your jaw. Good. Let's go 10 more breaths here. Think about that fish pose. Shoulders, the front shoulder back, the back shoulder front, like it's squishing. And then bend your knees. Gorgeous. Bring those feet in as close as you can to your seat. See if you can open your feet up like a book. So I like to take my thumbs to my big toe mounds, my fingers to my baby toes. I'm going to open those feet up like a book. Good. And with this one, straight back like you're on a fish. So shoulder heads lifting, ears pull away from shoulders, and we come down nice and slow, right? So again, avoiding what we did in that last posture, which was this. We want to think about lifting the shoulder heads, lifting the back of the skull. Ears stay with shoulders, so first the belly touches, then the ribs, then the nose, in that order. Just a different stretch. And I hate this stretch, which is why we don't do it as much, which is why this year I said we're doing it, because it's my absolute least favorite pose. Keep on breathing. Let's go 10 more breaths here. Exhale out what you don't need, and inhale in what you do. And then nice inhale to come all the way up. Draw those knees up. We're going to create a curve behind us. So we're going to take our 2 blocks like so. And then we're going to sit in front of our 2 blocks. And then we're going to lift up onto those 2 blocks. And then we're going to start with a double creeper. So a creeper is where the big toe mound and the inner heel are flat on the floor. We should be able to grab our knees, lift our chest, and find a nice straight spine. And we bring those feet as close as we can without losing the big toe mound and the inner heel, right? So in a creeper, keeping that big toe edge of the foot down is #1 priority. Shoulders back, heart center lifts. Pull in your belly as you start to come forward. Let your hands push on the outer knee and think about using your inner knees to push back on the hands. And then bring your hands to the inner knees and push and use your outer leg to push back. So then the hands go to the outside of the leg and you think about the inside of the leg opening, pushing into that hand, right? Then we bring our hands to the inside and we think about the ankle, the outer knee, and the outer hip squeezing in, right? Once we find the connection of those legs, we can bring our hands towards the floor. We can bring our elbows, our head towards the floor, whatever you fancy. But just find a nice comfy place to hold and breathe into it. Let's go 10 more breaths in this position. When those 10 breaths are complete, we're gonna come up. We're gonna draw those knees together. Good. So let's cross the right leg over the left leg. So this is a cross-legged creeper. So the ankles are quite close to start with, but if we can keep the soles of the feet down, we can walk the feet wider. But we want the big toe edge of the foot to be straight, and we want to make sure our big toe mound and our inner heel is down. So it's not this, it's this, right? The closer, the easier it is. Anytime we want to, we can go back to a regular old non-crossed creeper. Hands on the inside of the knees, push. Right? And then think about your entire outer leg pushing back. Good. And then hands on the outside, push. And think about the entire inside of the leg pushing back. Let's do that one more time. Good. And opposite side. Good. And then sitting up nice and tall, shoulders back. Keep your feet on the floor. Keep your butt even. We're going to bring our fingertips onto the floor beside us. And we're looking to keep this side of our torso straight, right? So the habit here is to shorten on the one side and bulge on the other, which is okay, but we're going to miss a really good hip stretch if we do that. So really pull this right armpit away from this right hip and almost move the left ribs to the right. We're then going to grab the back of the skull, root the head back, find that nice length in the back of the neck. Keeping that neck nice and neutral, we're going to extend that right arm up. Right? If that feels like too much for our shoulder, we go back to holding onto our head, right? So the magic here is to not bulge and shorten. We're saving that, okay? So you have to pull that right armpit away from that right hip. Good. And then you can twist slightly and turn and look underneath that left arm if you like. So this particular variation is wonderful for allergies, also really good for getting a nice low back release. Try to keep those feet flat. Gorgeous. Nice, and then bring your gaze back forward. Now with this next one, it's almost like you're angry kittying into that side rib. So a different variation of the posture. This one's more stretching the intercostals. The combination of the two I absolutely love during allergy season. Keep that neck neutral, right? It's not down, it's not up, it's just perfect. You're lifting the head, it's not dangling. Reach your wrist away from your hip, reach your wrist away from your shoulder. Good. And then take that left arm up, shoulders height, reach, reach, reach. Use your legs and your arm to pull you up. Reach that left arm out of the body, turn and look and make sure it's level with the shoulder. Relax that shoulder down, then flex that hand. Bring your right hand onto your right knee, lift your chest. The left ear comes towards the left shoulder. Good. And then the right ear comes to the right shoulder. Bend that left elbow a teeny, teeny, tiny little bit. Get that fascial release. Good. And then ear comes to left shoulder. Ear comes to right shoulder. Bend that elbow. Nice. Now rotate your chin towards that right shoulder. Push your hand into an imaginary wall. Keep that mini bend. And then chin comes back up to center. Release that arm. So walk those feet a little bit wider and let the knees open up, but keep those same muscles, right? So those feet are just as active as when they were in this posture, right? So we're really trying to lengthen that inside edge of the foot and then karate chop the baby toe edge down. Shoulders back, heart center lifts. Let's take the left hand to the right knee. Let's take the right hand to our love handle. So right hand, back of the hand into the love handle, lift your chest. Feel the weight even on your butt, straighten your back and twist. Some of us, the right hand's gonna take that left thigh, some of us it won't. The magic is leaning into the back of the ribs with the straight spine. That's where we get our range. Good, let's go 5 more breaths here. Breathe into those ribs, 'tis the season. If you feel your knees at all, you uncross them and you just do a regular cobbler with the feet touching. And then unwind back to center. This time, right hand's gonna reach across, take left knee. Left hand comes to the sacrum or the love handle. Reach into those elbows, just like when we were doing our boats. Reach into those elbows, try and get rid of the wrinkly wrists. Some of us are gonna be able to take that left hand around and grab that right thigh. Looking behind you, lean into your ribs and breathe. Good. Just do your best. chest, back so the hands root, elbows reach. Lift up that front armpit and lengthen it away from that hip. Feel the weight even in your butt. That's how we increase our range. Lift your elbow, pull it apart, just like in that first boat. And then unwind back to center. Palms face up. We're going to take Kubra Mudra. So we're going to take the ring and the pinky and we're going to curl them into the center of the palm, and then the peace fingers are going to touch the tip of the thumb, okay? Draw the elbows back, shoulders back, sit up nice and tall. Let's take 10 breaths, right? This is the mudra, Kubra Mudra, for abundance. What are you inviting in? What are you planting seeds? Healthy puppies, healthy puppies, healthy puppies. Whatever you're planting, sow those seeds. And as you're sowing those seeds through mantra, just using your powers of visualization, see what it is coming into fruition. And then when you're ready, hands come to those outer knees, walk the feet together, bring those knees together, good. Knees and feet together, give those legs a nice hug. Let's go right arm on top, whatever that looks like for you. Right arm's dominant, relax your shoulders, breathe into your back. Ten more breaths here. Again, 'tis the season to plant seeds, to use your mantra. It's the work season. I'm gonna get the Dixie cups up. I should have them out anyway. I think we still have some. Let me see. I'm all out. Okay. But I have this cup if you give it a little rinse.
Oh, thanks. Usually it's
Oh, I'm sure it is too. It's the season, girl. My son is constantly coughing.
okay.
And then coming up, sitting up nice and tall, we're gonna do a left leg in front of right, cross-legged creeper. Take those feet as wide as you can, but remember the rule here is to keep that inner heel, big toe mound down, and we wanna have the big toe edge of the foot straight. Grab onto those knees, lift the chest. If you can't get a straight back, move your feet further away and see if that helps. Hands on the outer knee, push. The whole inside of the leg pushes back, right? Hands on the inside, push. The whole outside of the leg pushes back. Good. Then grab onto those knees, lift the chest one more time. Left hand's gonna come out beside you. You can be on your fingertips, you can use your chip block if you need it, but come down with that right side straight, right? That's the priority. Really pull that right armpit away from that right hip to keep this straight. Sometimes thinking of cha-ching Ching, moving those ribs to the right can be helpful. Grab onto the back of the skull, push your head into your hand and point that elbow straight forward. That's going to give you an external rotation, and then you just slide your hand up, which will keep the rotation in the shoulder so you still have a nice range in your neck. If you do this, no range in the neck, right? So you want to keep that rotation. And then we can just kind of twist a little bit and look underneath that right armpit. Really press into those feet, get that nice ankle working, muscles going. Big, beautiful breaths. Keep lengthening on the left side. Push both butts even into the blocks. And then untwist, and it's almost like you do an angry kitty into that right rib cage. Again, neck stays neutral, palm stays down. I round my elbow a little bit like a ballerina. Think angry kitty into the rib cage. Nice. 5 more breaths here. Breathe into those ribs. This is Maddie's ribs right now expanding. I've had to make her belt bigger twice, her rib cage harness. I loved this when I was pregnant. Come on, Maddie, let's see it. And then reach that arm up, pull with that arm, pull into your belly, come up, keep the arm up. See if you can level those shoulders. I like to place my hand on my knee, flex the hand. Take a look, we want it to be below the shoulder. And then we want to push our palm into a wall, pull our fingers to us, mini micro bend that elbow, right? That bend makes a world of difference. Then we take our right ear to our right shoulder. Try and keep the weight even on your butt. So this is just basic nerve flossing. And then left ear to left shoulder. Right, so we go easy, hard, easy, hard. Breathe into it, push the palm away, pull the fingers to you, and then right ear comes down. And then left ear comes down. Lift that right collarbone, pull it away from your throat, and just rotate your chin towards that left shoulder. Really breathe into your nostrils. And then chin comes back up to center, release that arm down, set your shoulders back. Walk those feet as wide as you can and let the knees drop. No wrinkles in your ankle, just like when we do our number 4 pose. You know how I'm always like, get rid of the wrinkles? I'm training you for this. Karate chop the baby toe edge down and 0 wrinkles in those ankles. So what it doesn't look like is this. This, I'm instantly gonna feel my knees and I won't be able to ski, right? I'm also gonna feel my back, right? So if I keep those feet active and strong like I'm doing a creeper, that's how we train to be able to sit without pain. Lift the chest, shoulders back. So this time it's going to be the right hand taking the left knee, left hand comes around. Try and keep that spine straight, back of the hand into love handle, reach with those elbows, right? Lift the elbows and reach. It's very much like the boat or the creeper elbow. Now, odds are you want to kind of push into your right back floating ribs and lift your right armpit up, lift your left armpit up, and that's going to help us find more range. Good. Let's take 10 breaths on this side, in and out through the nose. And so for allergies, I like to think of that bowling ball belly, really pull my belly towards my back, strong Samanavanu, strong Uddiyana Bandha. Breathe into the upper chest and shoulders. And then unwind back to center. Keep those feet strong, hands on the thighs, lift your chest, shoulders back. Left hand comes across, right hand comes behind. Hand pushes into love handle, lift the elbows, pull them apart, and twist. So odds are you have to push into your left ribs, lift that left armpit to get a little more range. Reach into the elbows. So think of those arm bones like arrows, and they want to go to the tips of those elbows. Pull the belly towards the back. 10 breaths here. And then unwind back to center nice and slow, palms up. Curl your ring and pinky into the center of your palm. Peace fingers touch your thumb. Find those 90-degree angle elbows, shoulders back, heart center lift. So this is the second boat elbow. It's strong, right? It's not just like heavy and I can't sit here very long. But my elbow caps are lifting up like little hammocks, right? And my arm bones are pushing into those elbow caps so that my back and my hips aren't having to take the whole weight of my body, right? Lift those armpits up, lift those collarbones up, close your eyes, breathe, mantra, visualization. Let's take 5 more breaths here. And when those 5 breaths are complete, to come out of this, we lift our knees and we heel toe our feet in to uncross. And then this time, left arm's gonna be on top, and we just curl over those legs, and big, beautiful breaths into our back. Take 10 more breaths here. Mantra, mantra, mantra. And then when you're ready, coming up, we're going to come off of our blocks, and we're going to come onto our knees on a chip block. So knees on a chip block, 2 blocks handy. height and you can tuck your toes better, right? So when we feel our knees, it's because we're not using our feet enough. And obviously we're obsessing this year about our feet. We're also doing a foot workshop on May 10th if you want to come. It's from 9 until noon, right? We're going to step that right foot forward, right? And we're going to walk that right foot in just a little bit, right? So I'm not going to my depth. I'm just going a little bit forward for this, okay? My back toe is tucked. I'm going to find my fingers, I'm going to find my palms, I'm going to square my pelvis so that I'm not twisting my pelvis. I'm then going to put my right hand on my right knee, and my right knee is not going to move forward, and I'm going to lift my left knee without the right knee moving forward. So my right knee stays right over my right ankle, good, and then I'm going to bend that left knee and bring it down. We'll do that 3 times. We're going to go up and down, up and down, and major brownie points if you don't move your heel. And then we're going to come down, and we're going to go as low as we feel is comfortable on that particular block, okay? We're going to twist towards that knee. So here's the same thing where I want to keep both sides of the torso even in length, and I don't want this knee to move at all. I'm going to pull in my belly, I'm going to twist to my max in the ribs. I'm going to see if I can lift that back foot. Right? Maybe I sweep my arm around, maybe I grab the foot, but my right knee doesn't move at all. So I have to almost feel like I'm squeezing that right knee in. If I've got my foot, I kick, and if my knee feels good with the kicking, I pull my heel towards my butt. And you just go to wherever you want to go. I'm just breathing here. Really squeeze the hips in. If your pelvis moves, it's a lot harder to get the twist. Let's go 10 more breaths here. When those 10 breaths are complete, we're going to bring that foot down, go back onto equal height blocks, whatever that looks for you. Lift that back knee, lengthen it out. Hold here. Make sure the knee is right over the ankle. Good. And then drop that knee down, point that foot, lift up the ankle. Now in this one, listening to your body, you don't want to overstretch and you don't want to twist. You can walk that right foot a little bit forward, but make sure the knee stays over the ankle, and you can go as low as you can go, but you do want your hands flat and you're not allowed to feel your wrists. And then you lean into the hips. If it's too much stretch, you go higher, right? Or you move back, but you keep the knee boundary. You just go as low as you want to go. Pull in your belly, relax your shoulders, press into both feet. Find that back foot, really push into the toes and lift the ankle just a little bit. We call that an up dog foot. And so this is also the season for this stretch, okay? We want to work ankles, quads, and groins. Maybe we haven't hiked or biked as much as we normally do in the summer, so as we start to go back into those activities, we want to make sure that we're ready for it. Let's go 10 more breaths here. Is it hot? I'll open more windows when that is. I'm like, bring it! 17 degrees at the mountain this weekend. I'm not going, but there's going to be no snow, which is not bad. Tuck the back toe, good. Now try not to lift the right butt, but lift the left knee. Push that right butt down into a chair, lift the left knee. Right knee stays right over right ankle. Everybody's breathing. Good work, you guys. Give me 10 breaths here. When those 10 breaths are complete, drop your knee down. I like to use blocks to lift up and step that right leg back without jarring my back. And then here we can do a puppy pose, right? Blocks are a great way to train a puppy. This is wonderful for the shoulders. If we don't have any neck or shoulder issues, we You can do a down dog. Really finding, either way, finding that external rotation of the upper arm, internal rotation of the lower arm. Pull your belly towards your back. Now float the back of the skull. Nice strong necks here. Let's go 10 breaths in our rest. And then when those 10 breaths are complete, drop down onto those knees. Hands on blocks. And step that left foot forward. Check that your knees and your feet are at hips distance apart. That's going to help. For this first one, it's past a 90-90, but it's not to our deepest. We want to have that control to get the lift in the back leg. So get this pelvis nice and level. Find your blocks on a nice high height. Hand comes onto the knee. Remember, the knee's not going to move at all. Pull in your belly. Now, in a fantasy world, this heel wouldn't move, but I'd lift the knee. See how my heel doesn't move? And I'll drop the knee. So knee doesn't move, heel doesn't move. And it's going to make me lift my pelvis, drop my pelvis. Give me 2 more. Lift and drop. Lift and drop. Beautiful. Nice big inhale to lengthen. Press down into that knee to start the twist. Right, you can go lower on that block if that works for you. I like to have my hand right underneath my shoulder. Right, twist, twist, twist. Maybe you can try and lift that foot. Hello, hamstring. And maybe we sweep that arm over. Maybe we grab the foot. Maybe we don't, but that front knee doesn't move at all. I'm going to kick and pull. Lengthen that left side. Right, so feel the 2 sides of the torso. It's the same when we're doing those side stretches. We want to lift that left armpit to get maximum rotation. And just breathe into it. Let's go 10 more breaths here. In and out through the nose. So good for allergies. Little mini micro bend in those elbows. When those 10 breaths are complete, let that foot drop. Find your blocks, right? Squeeze the blocks, keep your knee where it is, lift that back knee to hold, release it. Again, keep that left knee right over the ankle. Look back, make sure your feet are at hips distance apart. If you're on a tightrope, it gets a lot more challenging for the pelvis. Just a few more breaths here. Nice long neck, push into those blocks. And then dropping that knee down, maybe choosing to walk that left foot forward. Just find a place that's comfortable for you to hold. Point your foot, lift your ankle. You're looking for the sweet sensation of the stretch. You go as low as you can on those hands without losing the palms flat. Lean into those hips. Pull your belly towards your back. Relax your forehead, relax your jaw, and breathe. Left hip pulls back, right hip pulls forward. Shin stays totally straight. So Dennis, watch that shin. Yep, so either foot forward or knee back, either or. So check out that shin here. How do I pronounce your name? Misato. Misato. Did I get it right? Misato. So see how that's a little bit back? So it's either knee back or foot forward, either or. Five more breaths. Now tuck that back toe. Do your best job not to lift that left butt, but lift the right knee. Ten breaths. We shouldn't feel our wrists at all. Knee and ankle are stacked on that front leg. Yay, yoga. Spring is the season of hard work. And then dropping that back knee, coming up onto those blocks. Step that front leg back. Child's pose, puppy pose, down dog pose. Or you could do a dolphin pose with your elbows right underneath your shoulders. Find those 90-degree angle arms and hold your dolphin. Right? Or a down dog, or a child's pose, or a puppy pose, whatever you fancy. Focus on your body from the inside. Focus on your breath. How's that sun, you guys? Do you want me to close some curtains? Yeah, it's warm, hey? Ten more breaths here. Feel free to take a child's pose if you fancy. And when those 10 breaths are complete, child's pose. Any child's pose you fancy as long as you don't feel your knees and as long as your forehead is resting on something. Let's take 5 more breaths here, exhaling to let go of what no longer serves you, and inhaling to invite in what you need. And then hands underneath the shoulders, coming into a tabletop position, knees and feet at hips distance apart. Pull in your belly, walk your hands to your knees, lift your knees, walk your hands to your feet. Keep those knees nice and bent, hands come onto the knees, straighten your arms, and just a little bit of imprinting and arching here. And then push down hard to come up. All right, so I'm gonna try and get 3 QT stretches in a row. So, let's see if I can do it. Okay, so I'm gonna have a chip block, right? And I'm gonna have my right foot on the chip block, and I have my left foot on the floor, and then I have to evenly bend my knees. Now for this one, my feet are at hips distance apart, right? And then I'm just gonna bang out a little bit of that Beyonce imprinting and arching here. So now, I'm not gonna get the QT if I have a hunchy back. Like if I can't shoulder check, there's no QT. period, right? It's a hard muscle to stretch, right? So see if you can keep a neutral pelvis, see if you can keep a straight back. Now, if that's you, then you can come down onto your elbows, you can bring your hands onto the blocks, but really being honest with yourself. Keep a straight back so you can shoulder check. And then bring the weight fully into your feet, okay? Push your feet into the bolster. It's not a bolster, it's a chip block. Big toe mound, baby toe mound, inner heel, outer heel. Now, without changing your back, you slide your butt up the wall. You think of your hamstrings going up and your calves going down. So always a bend in your knees, especially if you know you have back stuff, right? Always a little bend in the knees. Even I very rarely straighten my knees, right? Now, if I can't have a straight back, I would go back to hands or elbows on knees, or I can stack to really find that straight spine. Can you see 360? If you can't see 360, then that's not a straight back and you're not going to get the QT. Now, push your pelvis onto that right leg. If you can keep a straight back, bend your elbows. Push your pelvis onto that right leg. Just breathe into that. Just take 5 breaths here. Slide the hamstrings up, slide the calves down, push your quads back. Good. And then straighten your arms, bend your knees generously, hands on the knees, bang out a little imprint and arch here, knees very, very bent. And then push down hard to come up. Gorgeous. Step off. Move the little chip block to the other side. Left foot comes onto the chip block. Right foot's on the floor. Feet are hips distance apart. Hands come onto the knees. And we're just going to imprint and arch. And then keeping that straight back, really find the weight even in the feet. Don't let it be in the heels. And then keeping the straight back, you go as low as you can go, right? Straight back. And then you're never going to completely straighten your legs and the knees remain equally straight. Slide your hamstrings up and your calves down to almost straighten the legs, right? If it compromises the back, change it. Can you see 360 in a shoulder check without feeling your neck? And if you can't, go higher with those hands. Feel the weight on the feet, push your pelvis onto that left leg, and if you want to go deeper, you bend your elbows, really press into those feet, really push your pelvis onto that left leg bone. You guys feel that, hey? Anybody not getting that? Good. And just breathe. I like this one because it's QT, but it's also nerves. It's a really nice way to release the back. Almost getting those IT band stretches that we do all the time in our intense leg stretches, but in a sort of, less elaborate, I'm going to lay on the floor kind of way. So nice if you are at the gym, because gyms always have weights and they're about this thickness. A book works too if you've gone for a hike and you come home. It's a real quick, easy stretch, but very effective. But we do not straighten our legs here. Good. And then we're going to bend our knees, put our hands on our knees, straighten our arms. I'm always going to bang out a little Beyonce here. Feel the weight even. And then push down hard to come up, step off, palms forward, shoulders back, feel those feet. And then moving the block to the side, we're going to take our feet as wide as our mat, right? And then we're going to bring our hands to our knees. And then I'm going to move so that my right knee, right hip bone's over my right leg. And then I'm going to move so that my left knee, left hip bone's over my left leg, right? So for me, it feels like skating, right? One leg straightens, the other leg doesn't. And then I'm going to come over to that right leg and hold. Both knees are bent, but the right knee's a little bit more bent, right? Now, most people are going to come back to center, but that's not going to give you the QT. So we're going to move our blocks so that it creates a triangle around that right foot. Or we can stack our blocks, but I'm really keeping, see how I'm keeping my right hip to the right. Good. Both knees are bent, especially that right knee. So this way, Dennis. Yeah, and then you want to keep that right knee bent. And so my nose is in line with my foot, my knee, and my hip. There we go. I think we've all got it. Now bring the weight into that right foot and then push into that left foot. Good. And then just bend your elbows in a forward fold. Now, if you can do so without moving your hip, you can straighten your right leg a little bit and take your left outer hip towards your inner groin, and you're going to get that QT. So it's like the outer hip, which is diagonal from the inner groin, pushes towards the inner groin. Push your pelvis onto your leg bones, and then check it out. Eventually that pelvis is level. There we go, straight back. Keep that straight back. We're all feeling that? Good. Now bend that knee and just walk it over to the other side. So blocks either come in front of that left foot like so to keep a straight back, or you can build a triangle with that left foot. But really move the entire hip, knee, over the ankle. And then get your nose in line with your foot. Good. Press really hard into that right leg. Push into that left leg, and you fold over the left leg. Both feet are very, very strong. And you can start to straighten that left leg if you like, but it's more important to try and keep that pelvis level. So bent knee is probably your good friend here, and then take your outer right hip towards your inner right groin. And just breathe into that. So make sure your nose is in line with your toe, is in line with your knee, is in line with your hip. Otherwise, we're just doing the same old stretch we did last time. Nice. And then when you're ready, push down to come back up into center. Bend your knees, hands on the knees. Bang out some Beyonce action in the booty. And then push down hard to come up. Walk those feet in, palms forward, shoulders back. Beautiful breaths. So I got 2 in. I'm not going to get 3 in, but that's okay. I accept it. I won't make you 5 minutes late. You can either come through a squat, right, which is lovely, or if that's not your business, hands on the knees, butt back, and you walk it out like a bear, sweep it around, and just kind of do a bit of a squat here, working on the bend in the knees in this position. Let's just take 10 breaths with whatever we're doing. If we want to do a crow, we can do a crow. So if we're doing a crow, it's always nice to have something in front of you if you're not used to it. And you really push your arms into legs, legs into arms. Hands are as wide as your shoulders. And the first thing you work on is just getting your elbows over your wrists. And then maybe you lift one foot, right? You hold, then you try and lift the other foot. And you make sure in that trial that your palms are down, that the base of the index doesn't lift, and that your elbows stay right over those wrists. And then eventually, you lift one foot and then the other foot. Or not. Right, good options here. Really pull your belly towards your back. And I always find if I look forward, it's a little bit easier. And then when that's done, we're going to come down onto our seat. Lots of room behind us. Hands behind the thighs, make a C, come down nice and slow. Let's take that right ankle into a number 4 pose. And feel free to stay here. You can put your foot on a block. You can relax the shoulders if your shoulders just need a break before we end. Or you can interlace your fingers behind that left thigh. Make sure that you're not changing your neck, and then gently pulling the leg to you as the leg tries to get away from you. So my other really favorite QL, but it's just too long to teach, is this one. This is just so good, but we'll make sure if you ask me next week for it, we'll do it next week. You can strengthen it and then stretch it. You know the number 4 twist? But it takes 10 minutes to teach it and I don't have enough time. Relax your shoulders, pull your arm bones in. It gets in there with this one, but sometimes the muscles around it are too tight, so it keeps you from getting in there. Whereas with the twist, I find it can just give you that extra edge. Let's go 10 more breaths here. And then letting that foot come down nice and slow. Draw that right knee towards your navel to uncross. And then just open and close that knee a few times to release it. And then that foot comes down, opposite ankle comes onto the knee. Again, you can put your foot on a block and just hang out here. Or you can interlace your fingers, left hand on top of right, behind that hamstring. Make sure the shoulders are relaxed. If those shoulder heads are lifting and your chin is lifting, loosen up your grip, right? You don't have to have that happening. Pull your arm bones into your shoulders and get those shoulder heads a little closer to the earth. Feet nice and active, flat, not booked. Let's go 10 more breaths here. And when that's complete, releasing that foot to the floor, draw your knee to your navel, uncross. Maybe rocking your legs from side to side like a windshield wiper a few times. If you feel like you need to give those legs a hug, do. And then when you feel like that's all released for you, a nice well-deserved Shavasana. If your knees and back are sensitive, just throwing those blocks underneath your hamstrings can be nice. Or I can grab you a bolster if you like.